Good afternoon, folks who will listen to, because this is the backup channel. It's July 1st, 2025, 12:17 p.m. And this is the story I wanted to talk about. This is from Jimmy Dore's show. So I'll be playing a little bit of that to there. And just another disclaimer from the beginning. YouTube, this is coming straight from our government. It's coming straight from the Department of Health and Human Services, and this is a study that was done back in 1999. So this is proof. This is not medical misinformation. So don't even try to pull medical misinformation copyright. Just this is coming straight from the government, straight from Department of Health and Human Services. So don't try to say it's false information, all that. All right, so back in 1999, they did a study about the MMRs, and here's what they had to say.
Bobby Kennedy does it again. Listen to this. This just should make you angry.
Yeah,
what you would do if you wanted to find the answer, which is to compare outcomes in a fully vaccinated group to health outcomes in an unvaccinated group. And CDC did that study in 1999. They brought in a team of scientists under a Belgian researcher named Thomas Verstraeten, and they looked at the data. They looked at children who had received the hepatitis vaccine within the first 30 days of life, and compare those children to children who had received the vaccine later or not at all. And they found an 135% elevated risk of autism among the vaccinated children.
exactly.
And it shocked them. They kept the study secret, and then they manipulated it through 5 different iterations to try to bury the link. And, we know how they did it. They got rid of all the older children, essentially, and just had younger children who were too young to be diagnosed. And they stratified the data, and they did a lot of other tricks. And all of those studies were the subject of that kind of trickery.
Yeah, so wow. So I knew about this. I remember this whole thing happening in 2000. When I found out about it, and they did studies, and then there was these doctors that were coming out saying, oh, these are dangerous, it's causing the autism in kids. And then they said, oh, they made sure that the study never really got anywhere, any traction. And then they said, oh, it's misinformation. Well, they didn't say misinformation back then, but they said they were lies, and they discredited it, and they threw it out. And that was all that ever happened. And then anybody that believed that these MMRs caused that was conspiracy, and they were wrong, and all that, way back then. So I remember when that happened, I was afraid of that for my kids. I already had my first kid in 2000, so I really didn't know about it until after that. But with my second child, I was worried about it. My ex wasn't worried, there was just, this is what you do. But, I was always like, why would you give babies this? You're giving them 3-in-1 MMR, So, why do they have to have that early in their life? 1 month old? 30 days old? Come on. So, I managed to talk the doctor and my ex into waiting an extra 3 months. And, my second son, he was considered on the spectrum, but not with it. So that was good. And my next 2 children wound up getting autism, and they had their shots right away because, that's what you do. You're supposed to do that. But I just don't understand why these young, tiny babies, underdeveloped, need to get these, sure, okay, let them have these shots, but wait. they don't, let their systems, develop a little bit. I just don't understand why they have to have it so young. And one of them is hepatitis. Like, how many 1-month-old babies, are active where they were going to get hepatitis? Come on. So anyway, that's the whole thing for me. I was like, I didn't want to have it done and then, sure enough, and then when my third son wound up getting autism, and then we were talking, I was so concerned again because we were having another child, and this time a girl, and the doctor says the odds of a girl and the odds of a second child getting autism are so slim that it's blah 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 blah. And in other words, the doctor was like there was like almost zero chance that my next child would get autism, and sure enough, she did. So I don't trust him, and I'm just saying, we've it doesn't matter, the governments are always going to shut down any kind of information. It's crazy how it took 25 years for this to come out, even though, a lot of people knew that way ahead of time about this. So what else was I going to say? So I know that the doctors, they're always going to be pushing that, but I'm saying if you are a new mother and you're starting a family, just delay. If anything, just delay these shots, because you got to let your child develop a little bit, and these babies just don't have a chance for their systems to, that's just too much. And I don't understand also why they have to have all 3 shots all at once. Why can't they spread those out too? It's too much in just a little baby's system for all this poison to be in there, So that's my rant for today. Sorry, it makes me upset because I knew this all along. I knew this 25 years ago, and the study was 26 years ago, but I knew it 25 years ago. And, everybody always just said, oh, you're crazy. That's not true. Blah, blah, blah. Doctors even, everybody, even my own family and friends, they said the same thing. Oh, you're just crazy. That's just, don't you remember? They said the story was false. The story was false, and all the studies they did, they were lying in the studies. Wow. Just like the chemtrails too, right? All right. Thanks for watching. God bless.